My fellow Americans, we are and always will be a nation of immigrants.
A major announcement on immigration in the United States. President Obama's decision will impact millions of undocumented immigrants and their families. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Over 11 million undocumented immigrants live in the United States, and for years the U.S. has struggled with the issue. Should the immigrants be deported back to their countries of origin, or should they be given an opportunity to become U.S. citizens? President Obama promised to deliver on immigration reform when he ran for president, but he has not been able to work out a legislative deal with Congress. And now he's taken unilateral action with a major announcement.
If you've been in America for more than 5 years, if you have children who are American citizens or legal residents, if you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation. You can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. That's what this deal is.
Joining us now is CCTV's White House correspondent, Jessica Stone. Jessica, as I mentioned, there are over 11 million undocumented workers in the U.S. What about those not covered under President Obama's plan?
Well, a number of them are clearly disappointed. The group that was expecting to get deferments, which did not, are the parents of the so-called dreamers. These are young adults who were taken to this country illegally as children. There are a little more than 1 million of them, and they have already gotten deferred deportations. Now, once Dreamers got their deferred action 2 years ago, they turned their fight to getting deferments for their parents. White House officials have said they did not feel the president had the legal standing to defer those deportations, though. The reality is that there is no solution for most of the 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States without a congressional solution. It demands the force of law, which is only the U.S. Congress can provide.
Now, most of the immigrants impacted by this decision are Latinos, but what about undocumented workers from other nations?
Well, that's clearly right. There are 7 million from Mexico, and close to 2 million are from Central America. You will recall the surge of illegal immigrants we had over the summer in the United States, many of them coming from places like Guatemala and Honduras, El Salvador, where there was gang violence, putting their lives in danger. A little over 1 million are from Asia, nations like India, the Philippines, South Korea, and China. Many of these are visa overstays or simply families fed up with being separated. Filipinos, for example, are the largest family visa applicant group to the United States.
President Obama is taking a lot of heat from his political opponents over this action. Let's take a listen to what the Republican leader in the U.S. House of Representatives had to say. Let's watch.
The action by the president yesterday will only encourage more people to come here illegally and putting their lives at risk. We saw the humanitarian crisis at our border last summer, how horrific it was. Well, next summer, it could be worse. And this action also punishes those who've obeyed the law and have waited their turn. With this action, the president has chosen to deliberately sabotage any chance of enacting bipartisan reforms that he claims to seek. And as I told the president yesterday, he's damaging the presidency itself.
So, Jessica, what can the opponents of President Obama do? He's going to be leaving office in 2 years. Could they overturn this immigration order?
Well, there's actually a lot they can do. They can hold up his picks to lead government agencies and courts. They can block his agenda on things like climate change prevention, even pass legislation to undo the results of the president's executive actions. There are conservative Republicans who want to shut down the government like we saw last fall, and also want to sue the president. There's not a lot of appetite for those things, though, from Republican leadership. And these lawsuit threats, they're not empty ones. House Republicans have actually sued the president on Friday over his unilateral actions on Obamacare implementation. As for whether this can be overturned, though, absolutely that's the case. A new Congress, a new law, a new president, all of these will put an expiration date on these deferred deportations. Because remember, the president is only exercising his right to reinterpret the law, not change it. Of course, all of these options for Republicans could alienate Hispanic voters and ultimately cost the party elections down the road.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Jessica Stone there reporting on this latest announcement by the president.